Diplomats, officials representing a country abroad. International officials discuss how to end the regional conflict even as both sides increase the intensity of their attacks. Escalate, to increase rapidly or become more intense. Negotiators are looking for ways to stop the fighting, though the situation continues to escalate on the ground. Propaganda, biased or misleading information used to promote a political cause. The conflict has been marked by unusual and peculiar propaganda used to influence public opinion. Ballot, a system of voting, typically in secret. The candidate, a former broadcaster and activist, was selected on the first ballot with a decisive majority of the vote. Campaigned, worked in an organized, active way toward a particular goal, typically political. The leader campaigned on aggressive environmental protection and economic affordability policies. Decisively, in a manner that settles an issue or is firm and confident. The organization decisively chose a new leader to pull the group out of a historic low in popularity. Sentiment, a view of or attitude toward a situation or event, an opinion. This political sentiment was echoed by several regional leaders within the same party. Zionism, a movement for the re-establishment of a Jewish nation. While the new leader has deep roots in the community, some organizations pan the wind due to statements on Zionism. Ethnic, relating to a population group with a common national or cultural tradition. Certain groups criticize the leader's comments regarding ethnic relations and national identity. Illegitimate, not authorized by the law, not valid. The cultural organization stated that telling community members a part of their identity is illegitimate is deeply harmful. Parliament, a legislative body of government. The newly elected official has not yet indicated where or when they will run for a seat in Parliament. Federally, at the national government level. The leader faces a difficult task as they try to rebuild a party whose support federally has significantly declined. Decimated, to destroy or drastically reduce the strength of something. After the leadership change, the group saw its representation drop significantly before being effectively decimated in the last vote. Rages, of a conflict, to continue with great intensity or force. Officials gathered for peace talks to discuss pathways to end the month-long war, but the fighting rages on. Retaliate, to make an attack in return for a similar attack. The nation has given its adversaries a deadline to condemn the recent strikes before they decide to retaliate. Diplomatic, concerning the profession or skill of managing international relations. Several diplomatic leaders from nearby nations met over the weekend to discuss a possible end to the hostilities. Facilitate, to make an action or process easy or easier. The host nation stated it would be honored to facilitate meaningful talks between the two sides in the coming days. Looming, appearing as a shadowy form, especially one that is threatening. Thousands of additional troops have arrived in the region, sparking concern over a looming ground invasion. Captivity, the condition of being imprisoned or confined. The armed group issued a warning that any ground operations would result in the captivity and disappearance of soldiers. Dismemberment, the action of cutting or tearing off the limbs of a person or animal. The propaganda message used harsh terms like dismemberment to describe the potential fate of invading forces. Aggressors, persons or countries that attack another first. The military statement described the incoming foreign troops as aggressors who would face severe consequences. Counterpart, a person or thing holding a relatively same position to another. The Prime Minister coordinated with his foreign counterpart to expand offensive operations in the border region. Commemorate, to recall and show respect for an event or person. Despite the threats of an offensive, many people attended religious services to commemorate the holiday. Crucifixion, an ancient method of execution by being nailed to a cross. The religious service focused on the events leading up to the historic crucifixion and subsequent entry into the city. Controversy, disagreement, typically when prolonged, public, and heated. There was significant controversy in the Holy City today regarding the management of religious sites. Countering, speaking or acting in opposition to. The president agreed to share his country's expertise on countering drones and missiles with international allies. Cockpit, the compartment for the pilot and crew of an aircraft. An investigator reported that the observer was sitting in the jump seat behind the cockpit when the aircraft went down. Tarmac, a material used for surfacing roads or runways. Following the crash, the survivor was found on the tarmac, still strapped to the seat. Preponderance, the quality or fact of being greater in number, quantity, or importance. There is a preponderance of opinion among experts that the health issue was related to long-term exposure to space conditions. Microgravity, very weak gravity, as in an orbiting spacecraft. After spending hundreds of days in microgravity, the astronaut returned to Earth to study the physical effects of the journey. Spawned, to produce or generate a large number of. This regional conflict has spawned an entirely different type of information war involving digital media and cartoons. Trolling, making deliberately provocative online posts. Government agencies are now trolling each other online by posting provocative memes on their social media channels. Obscene, offensive, or disgusting by accepted standards of morality. Critics pan the media campaign for its obscene focus on violence and the celebration of physical destruction. Lethality, the capacity to cause death or serious harm. The military animations emphasize the lethality of their new weapon systems to intimidate adversaries. Depicting, representing by a drawing, painting, or other art form. The digital posters are depicting various global leaders as villains to distract the public from internal scandals. Purports, to appear or claim to be or do something, especially falsely. This shared video purports to show a successful attack on a naval fleet, though its authenticity is unverified. Rigorous, extremely thorough, exhaustive, or accurate. The legislative body is the place where officials provide rigorous scrutiny of every policy proposal. Scrutiny, critical observation or examination. The public official has avoided much of the media scrutiny regarding his poor attendance record in the assembly. Backbench/backbencher, rank-and-file members of a legislative body. The leader often ignores questions from the backbench, choosing only to answer the primary opposition leaders. Ivories, informal, the keys of a piano. Today marks a special occasion for those who enjoy music and want to spend time tickling the ivories. Imagery, visually descriptive or figurative language. The musical piece is simple enough to allow listeners to create their own stories and imagery as they listen. Composing, writing, or creating a work of art, especially music. In times of reflection, the artist sits at the instrument and begins composing new melodies. Melodious, pleasant-sounding, tuneful. The world acknowledges the unique range of the instrument and its melodious sounds that encourage people to stay calm.